If you want to simplify your life, you want to create a feeling of freedom and you want to feel in control, as well as just live your life a little bit more intentionally, then this is the kind of video that you want to watch so that you can create a really focused, distraction-free 2020 with a distraction-free phone. Distraction-free phones are definitely not something that I came up with, so check out the links down below for all of the origins and the articles that exist out there about distraction-free phones. Essentially, it's about using your phone as a tool and being in control of the time spent on your phone rather than letting your phone control you. So phones are super useful, however they're also a huge time suck depending on how you set them up. We want to set them up in a way that they're still really useful, they have all their useful traits about them, however they're not distracting and they're not taking up all of your time. So before you look at your actual device and the settings on your phone, you want to create an environment that supports a distraction-free phone. Start by finding a drawer, any drawer, and call that your phone drawer. This is the drawer that you put your phone in whenever you want to work, whenever you want to study, whenever you want focus and you want a distraction-free environment. There was a study done that showed how having your phone nearby impacted your performance, and unsurprisingly, people that had their phone sitting on their desk with them performed the worst. They performed almost the equivalent of someone who hadn't had a good night's sleep. There were those that had their phones in their pockets who were still impacted just by having their phones in their pockets. And then there were those that had their phones in the next room who performed the best of the group. So before you even start changing anything on your device, assign a phone drawer. There are two other optional small changes that you can make to your environment that might involve like a little bit of cash. So if you want to go all out, then you can do these two things. The first one is to get a real actual alarm clock. So $10 from Kmart. It replaces your phone, so your phone isn't the first thing that you look at of a morning. And you can invest in a watch. So every time you want to check the time, someone asks for the time, you're not opening your phone and then ending up down an Instagram rabbit hole. And if you're not a watch person, watches don't look cute on you. You don't like the idea of a watch, I get you. Now we're gonna go through and create a distraction-free phone. That way, every time you pick up your phone, hopefully, it will be far less likely that you'll go down the track of checking your Instagram or scrolling through Facebook for an hour. So you wanna start with your social media feeds. You wanna go through your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, and start unfollowing and unsubscribing to people. So the kind of people that you wanna unfollow and unsubscribe to are people that don't add value to your life, people that make you wanna buy more things if you wanna spend less money in the new year. So pretty much any Instagram profile where the whole goal is to sell you something, unfollow those Instagrams. Any profiles or people that make you feel bad about your life, even though logically you're aware that their feeds are just highlight reels, or anyone that you haven't actually spoken to in a very long time. So there's people that you still follow from high school that like you just haven't talked to them for 5 years, you're okay to unfollow them. That in itself is gonna feel really good, but then you also wanna start decluttering your apps and you wanna do it KonMari style. So if you have folders on your phone like I did, you wanna actually take all of your apps out of their folders, drag them all onto your screen, rearrange them so that things are a little bit different, you're seeing things from a fresh perspective. Then you want to start going through your apps and deleting anything that you don't use or that no longer sparks joy. If you're really wanting to create a distraction-free phone in 2020, you want to delete all of your social media apps. So that includes things like Gmail. You can access that on your desktop, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube. Fingers crossed the algorithm doesn't penalize me for saying this. And you can still use these apps on your phone if you want. You can use them on the Safari browser. It's not as nice of an experience, but that's better. You want to make it like a harder, less appealing thing for you to do. Or you can just download the apps when you need them and then delete them. There's way more steps between you and going on Instagram when you have to go ahead and download it in order to scroll through a feed or check a message than there is when it's sitting on your home screen. Some people, when they're creating a distraction-free phone, actually go to the extent of deleting Safari. I'm not there yet. A good way to do it is to actually have like a time of day where you check all the social media apps. So just set a timer for 15 minutes, download the apps that you want to check, and then delete them after the fact so they're not there all day and you're not as distracted as a result. So the next thing that you want to do is to clear your front screen so that the apps that are on it are tools. So these are things that are actually helpful in your life, that enhance your quality of life, that you want to be accessing more. So it could be things like your note-taking app, your to-do app, maybe your camera app, those kind of things. But you don't want like your Instagrams, your Gmails on your front screen because it makes them far easier to click into. I want to make a video all about the productivity apps that I've been using lately very soon. If you want to watch the one that I made 6 months ago, and a lot of those are still relevant, then click on the video down below or up here. where I'll have it linked. So once you've chosen those apps, you want to actually move all of the other apps onto another screen so that they're less there, less in front of your face. And if you have a messenger app or some app that still you find distracting but you need it downloaded, then try putting it into a folder and putting it onto like the second page of that folder. This is a trick I learned from, I'm gonna say Ryan Holiday. I'll have the link to the article down below. You just want it as hard to access as possible. So create more clicks in between you and that app that you find is a big time suck for you. So the next thing that you wanna do is go onto your widgets. You wanna choose your widgets consciously. And one app that you do wanna have in your widgets is your screen time, because you're trying to create a distraction-free 2020. You want something that shows you how much you're using your phone, and then you can decide whether you're using your phone with intent on a weekly or daily basis whenever you look at it. Having that there will make you more conscious of how you're spending your time on your phone, how much time you're spending on your phone, so put it first thing on the page if you don't have anything that's more important and needs to go before it. Other than that, keep your widgets page super simple and declutter anything that's not necessary. Now you want to do the obvious and go into your settings and turn off all of the notifications for your phone. There are some apps that you'll probably need to keep the notifications on, like things like Google Maps, like important apps that you actually do want to hear from. However, for the rest of them, turn the notifications off so that you're not getting distracted and getting pretty much triggered to check your phone more. A few little extra steps that you might want to take to create a more helpful, more useful phone in 2020 are, firstly, turn on night mode. I talked about this in my in-depth guide to sleep, Sleep 101. I'll have that video linked up here and down below, but it's so important to have night mode turned onto your phone to get a better sleep. And there's also a function that I only learned about recently reading one of the articles I mentioned, and that is turning off raise to wake. So whenever you lift up your phone, it tends to turn itself on. You might not have even noticed it because it's not something you're really that conscious of, but you can actually turn that setting off. So whenever you raise your phone, it doesn't just instantly turn on and become this distractible device. You just don't want your phone to wake up every time that you raise it. Another change that you can make is to make a really plain background screen. If you want to get things like really simple, really distraction free, go for like all white or black. I don't want to do that. Another setting that you can change is actually turning your phone onto B&W mode. So this basically creates a fully black and white screen. It's totally grayscale so that it's less enticing, even more so than you've already made it. Once again, you're looking to create something that's like a tool. It's not like a pretty shiny distracting device. This probably won't work well if you are someone that needs to upload Instagram photos or see colors well on your phone, but for those of you who don't use your phone for that purpose at all, definitely chuck it onto grayscale. It'll make Instagram and all of those apps far less enticing. If you like videos about designing your days intentionally, getting the right things done, then make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can keep up with the kind of videos that I make on my channel. If you want to see all of the apps that I use to keep myself incredibly productive, I'm going to have that link down below, and I'll be uploading a new video of that soon, so do make sure that you click the subscribe button so that you see it come out. I appreciate you so very much, and I will see you soon.